Start the day with Orphé. I'm a routine, I get better each day. I conquer my goals, I plan to be great. I plan to be early, you plan to be late. Your bread in the kitchen, my bread in the bank. The secret if you tryna master your fate is start the day with Orphé.
Let's get it. Welcome to Start the Day with Orphé, man. I'm like a little kid. I just start with my feet. I'm so excited, man. Thank you for joining us on Start the Day with Orphé. This journey is designed to be a safe space for growth and development, right? We are the realest podcast for that growth and that development. Right here, we're going to talk about leveling up together, right? We're going to talk about family, finance, friends, relationships, manifesting, which is something that's become very important in our lives.
Get it.
Right? I am here with my brother and co-host, Wilber Trivino. Go ahead, give Wilber a little bit of...
Yo, what's good? Thank you for the claps.
Yeah.
Thank you for the claps. What's good, beautiful people? Pleasure to be here. As always a pleasure to see you, Ant. Brother from another mother. I'm very excited for the wrap-up episode.
Thank you.
And so you lead the way, and I follow, and but it's been a journey.
It has.
It's been a lot of changes has happened.
A lot
in our lives since the last time we were here recording, and so I'm excited.
Right.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, man. We have been on a bit of a break, just a little bit of a hiatus, within the season because we were going through different, I was graduating, I finished at Columbia, I've started work,
Which, congratulations on all that, by the way. Can we get some claps on that?
Man, we need to clap for that.
Claps
Come
on that.
Man. Thank you.
Go.
I appreciate it,
You just passed your exam.
Right, and I had to take another licensure exam, the Series 79 and the SIE. I passed those over the summer to make sure that I'm properly licensed to be an investment banker. It was a very small piece of what we went through, of course, over a decade ago. Right. But I still need to prepare, right? I needed to prepare for the opportunity to succeed on that.
Yeah.
And now that I've gone through that and sat in that room, waited for them to calculate my score, and then I see the pass, and I couldn't get out of that place fast enough, right? I almost put a hole in the wall with the headphones that they give you, the provided ones, because I just threw them off my head. But it was a beautiful thing, and like I said, so many things have happened in our lives, blessings for sure, and we want to be able to spend this, what I would call a bittersweet moment, right? Because the season is coming to an end, but we've been on this journey where we first started off talking about building positive relationships, right?
Right.
And we wanted all of you to be able to take some nuggets from that about how to build positive relationships, how to make yourself available, right? In order to build that positive relationship, in order to say to someone, is it possible that you're willing to maybe mentor me? And if so, how can I help you help me? Mm-hmm. Right? How can I be available? We then moved into manifesting, right? Because based on those positive relationships, people are going to pour into your life.
Right.
Right. And then you'll start. Or not. But based on the positive relationships, people are pouring into your life. Right.
Yes.
And through those relationships, you start to learn things. You start to see that if I want to get to specific places in my life, I need to manifest those things in my life. Right. I need to build the proper habits. I need to have the proper goals. I need to be able to execute. I need to be able to see the vision. I need to understand my passion and my purpose. Mm-hmm. And then I can do almost anything I need to do. Right? So these are all of the things that we've been through this season, and we're so grateful to everybody for joining us. And we can only hope and pray that through this virtual mentorship, that you've been able to achieve some of the things you wanted to.
Right. That
you've been opened up to some of the things that we wanted to teach, that we wanted to share through our experiences, right? So, I really would like to hear from you a little bit, Wilber, just to give us an idea about, when we started, for example, building positive relationships. Mm-hmm. How have you grown, since then in the way in which you are building those positive relationships?
Since the episode?
Since the episode, right?
So the episode reinforced a lot of the things that I was already doing.
Right.
You know, and I've continued to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so which is to the people who in my opinion share the same values that I do, that I want to get to know and everything and everything like that. I'm in constant communication with them.
Right.
Just, hey, how you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Hope all is well.
Right.
Or I have this idea. You want to come through?
Right.
Maybe I think, you could be a good fit, whatever the case may be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so doing that, helping others as much as I can.
Right.
I don't know it all, so if I can't help, if it's beyond my expertise, or I just feel like the information I'm giving is limited, then the least I can do is point them in the right direction.
Right.
Right. And just, continuing to care for other people and not just care beyond my needs.
Right.
I mean, not care solely for my needs, but care beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to do that every day.
Right. And, remember we talked about how mentorship, right, was, in my opinion at least, probably the most important relationship you have outside of your family and your friends, right? And for me, in this time, I've been able to continue and foster those mentorships, right? Foster my ability to be a mentor, right? I've got 2 mentees specifically that I am, very involved in their lives. They're grown men now. They started when, mentoring them when they were 15 years old.
Wow.
And now they're grown men and going through life situations that I have been through, right? Professionals, artistics, creatives, those types of things, and being able to give them advice from a place of love, first and foremost, right? But then also from a place of understanding and knowing their struggle, their current struggle, especially as it relates to getting to the places they want to be in life, but feeling like what they're currently doing is not going to get them there. Man, we had, I tell you, just a quick story. We sat in Chipotle and having a conversation about quitting a job that one of my mentees had, gotten over the after graduating. And it was a great corporate gig. He was at Verizon, and he was doing kind of the thing that he wanted to do, when he went to college. He first wanted to be like a video game programmer, right? He wanted to create those things. And then when he got the offer from Verizon to be like a computer systems engineer, I thought it was a great opportunity for him, right? It's a corporate environment which you can grow, you'll be able to learn a lot. But then he felt like his growth was being stifled.
Okay.
And he didn't know exactly what to do, right? And so he had gone through all of these iterations and finally settled upon, well, I think I'm going to leave my job. I'm going to leave the area and go back to Rochester. Okay, that's fine, right? I want you to be able to make those decisions, but I want you to also think about them critically, right? And then that's the mentor in me, is, were you making a decision based on critical thinking, or were you just simply making an emotional decision, right? Because we're young, you feel like things aren't working, in my way, and I'm going to go back maybe to something that's easier, right? And it took them weeks to come and talk to me about this when they had essentially already made a decision, and now the decision was like a week off, rather than a month off where you had time to kind of pivot.
Right.
Now it was like the 11th hour, and you come to me and you want advice, and I'm like, well, it would have been nice if you'd have come to me 2 weeks ago and we could have really talked about this, but let me give you some game on what you should be doing, how you should be thinking about it, because I could never tell you what to do. All I could tell you is how to critically think about a situation to come to the best conclusion for yourself.
Right.
And, these are the things that I've done since, we talked about that in our second episode, building positive relationships, being a mentor, right? I had all of those positive mentors in my life, and I've been able to really pay it forward, And that's something that I am eternally grateful for, because I know that I'm able to speak from a place where I can give sound advice to somebody that I care about, and it not be emotional,
Right.
right? And it not be from a place of ignorance, just ignorance of not knowing. And that's the place, that we want to be as a podcast, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Right. So then we talked about manifesting, which is very much so how he wanted to be moving in his life. Right. Are you manifesting these things in your life? Right. And I can tell you that in a continuation of my own journey, my own manifesting journey that I shared about it culminating where being able to speak at the same conference as Robert Smith. Right. And I'd manifested this for years in different ways. I had the habits. I had built the goals, how I was going to get to Columbia, how I'm going to become an investment banker, which I am now, right? Licensed officially. All of these things. And that now we've moved forward, and I hope that people have been able to pick up those gifts and those jewels, right, through our conversations. Have you, right, been able to continue in that manifesting goal as well, right? What are some of the things that you are still doing toward your goals and manifesting?
So my life at this point in time has taken a little bit of a detour.
Okay.
Whatever I had manifested in my life, and the vision I had for the rest of my life is no longer. Right, as you know. And so I'm not ready to get into details about that. But my life right now is at a detour, which is a great moment in time, right? Because it shows that the road of life is a long and windy road.
That's it.
And so right now, talk about realest podcast, like that's what we're doing here, right?
That's right.
So I'm having a little bit of difficult time manifesting.
Okay.
Or keeping that energy and consistency there. You know what I'm saying? Or even the motivation to manifest.
That's right.
Because before I had, my motivation was present, and I was willing, and I'm that's that piece of my life was there, and so therefore I wanted to get to these goals for the betterment of, right, of whatever it was in my life that was motivating me.
Right.
That is no longer there.
Right.
So now I'm just like, subconsciously, I guess, I'm like, what's the point?
I get it.
And it's a process, right? Because literally this happened like a couple months ago. So I'm trying to be focused and continue to stay stay as focused as I would like.
Right.
So to be honest, I'm having difficulty manifesting because now I need to change my vision. Right? Because I had a whole vision planned out, right? Like this, in terms of what the rest of my life would be, and the ultimate goal that I wanted to achieve with family. And so now I'm trying to find that new vision, see where everything fits together now with the new status quo.
Right.
And the process of that has had me a little bit, I wouldn't say down or anything like that, but it's a grieving process.
Right.
And so you have your ups and you have your down moments.
That's right.
And so right now the focus, the motivation, the energy, consistency is still there. Yeah. Because now I have obligations, I have clients, and but the motivation and vision is a little hazy.
Right. I'm happy that you were willing to share a little bit of that because it's an important aspect.
Right.
And you said a long and windy road, right? And what we talked about, right? And everybody get your pencils out, get your pens out.
Get your pens out, markers,
was that
Sharpies.
Manifestation is a journey more than a destination, right? Because I'd said that personally, I'd been on a manifesting journey for quite some time.
Yeah.
And for you, Wilber, your manifesting journey, you have reached a certain point in that journey in which you're trying to figure out which maybe detour to take.
Right.
But it's not changing that you're on the journey. It's simply saying to yourself, which way am I now going to go? Because that was roadblocked, right?
Right.
Remember, we talked about how life used to be, right? And when you would go on vacation, you would print out, like whether it was MapQuest, right? And it would have the detailed instructions on how to get from point A to point B. But what would happen is you would be going along your route and you realize that there's a detour, right? And before GPS, you had to really study and understand, well, if there's a detour, I can take this route instead of the other route. I can go Route 11 instead of 81 south. I can do X, Y, Z in order to still get to my destination.
Yeah.
You are at the detour,
right?
So now you're figuring out which way you're going to take to still get to your destination. Right.
That's absolutely right.
There is nothing wrong with that. And for everyone who's wondering, well, what do I do when I reach the detour? You do exactly what is happening at this table. And what's happening is thinking about where I still want to go.
Right.
Thinking about, is it still worth it for me, or do I need to choose something else? And then creating your goals, right?
Creating your vision.
Thinking about your vision.
Right. And all these things go back to what you said before, which was critical thinking.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Right. That this right now, all those little elements. I just want to make it clear for the audience, right? All of these elements are part of critical thinking. Right. That's how you critically think, taking everything to bite size.
Right.
And thinking about it.
Right. And you might need to develop new habits to get to where you're going now, because you might be going someplace different, but you're still on that same journey.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then once you have those habits, understanding that it is everything in furtherance of your vision and your purpose, right? Because once you know that, then your compass is always pointing north.
Right.
And acting on it.
Yep.
Right? So now you are in that phase where you're
back to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board a bit. And you're going to be able to move forward once you've developed those skills. Right? So the next time we talk, you may be able to say, hey, this is what I've done, and be able to give those even better jewels, right? I would just say like master practitioner jewels to the people who are still figuring it out. I appreciate you for that, man. And that's the growth and the development that we've been on, especially as the Realest Podcast.
Realest Podcast. Right here we're going to show people, at least I am, the ups and the downs.
Because life happens.
Yep.
Life happens. And so after we've talked about all of these things in manifesting, man, like I am eternally grateful to you, to our production crew.
Yes.
Right.
Shout out
to Digitality, of course.
Yeah, and Beef, the mastermind.
Shout out to everyone who supported us throughout the season, right? Because as the wrap up, we wouldn't be able to wrap up if it weren't for the people who are supporting us, right? And really giving us a lot of juice.
And also shout out to those who are not supporting us.
Oh yeah, because you add juice too, but hey,
not as much.
You're missing out. But say you're missing out.
It's grateful to, well, it's good to be grateful to those who don't rock with you, because then, at least for me, I think that you can get some good feedback out of that to just keep doing what you're doing, but just better. You know, not necessarily to attract them or bring them to your camp, but just if there's any sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Any sort of improvement or betterment, just in general, objectively, then why not?
Then why not? Why not? Because the goal is always growth.
Right.
And through growth is where you do great things.
Right.
Right. And so appreciating everyone for their ability to help us grow. and help our platform and our podcast grow. Right. Help us grow as individuals, because I've grown a lot since we first started this journey, right? Because I didn't know, I was nervous about what was to come. And now that we've made it here, I am so happy and so grateful, right? I am grateful to my wife and my family for believing that this was even possible, right? Thankful for all of the conversations that you and I had at 5 o'clock in the morning while we're working out that made all of this possible, right? Thank you for our relationship that we've fostered over the last 10 plus years. Oh, geez, man. 10, it's longer than that, man. I mean, it was 2010, so nearly 12, 15 years. That has gotten us to be here, how we've grown as family, how we've grown as friends and as brothers and all of these things, right? And I appreciate you so much.
Yeah. And the feeling is mutual, brother. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for everything. For even yesterday. Yeah. You know, just giving me some game, right? Because I understand that you're concerned and you don't want me to go down a path where I may hit a brick road and everything like that. So even though I may not be able to really understand or really see or even maybe necessarily ready to agree with you, but I do appreciate all of that, and I appreciate your love and support.
Oh, man, look, let me tell you, it is my pleasure, because I know that there are so many great things that you have in store for your life.
Thank you.
And you're going to do all of those things, because I know that you're manifesting them in your life. And I know that through this exercise, this therapy that we've been going through for months and Start the Day with Orphé was just as much for us as it is our listeners.
Yes. Right. It's a love fest out here today.
It is.
It's a love fest.
This is beautiful. And
I have a question for you when you're done.
I just want everyone to remember one thing, and that is I started this because I wanted you to be able to say, Anthony Orphé is my mentor, even though you may have never met me before. He has mentored me. He's helped me see, and I can now achieve, think through, because he and Wilber said that it was possible. And they've been able to do it, right? Yeah. So you go ask your question.
Yeah, so my question to you is, right, how have you manifested since the manifestation episode? What have you done to add to that journey vision, or eliminate? How have you manifested differently in any way, or have you been continuing to manifest, or because you're getting new feedback from life and new opportunities and new experiences, is that even changing your previous manifestations?
What I would say is that I am still on the same journey, right? And my goals have not changed.
Okay.
However, I have been blessed with some new things, right, in my life. And when I say new things, it's like our family is growing, right?
Congrats on that.
Thank you. So
can we get a clap on that?
So thank you to the team. Like our family is growing, so that adds more to the calculations that I need to make as to, how do I act? How do I carry myself out in the world to achieve X, Y, Z? But after I had gone through all of those things, again, to meet Robert Smith, to be in the same, conference, to speak at the conference, and then I still had work to do. After that, right? I still had a responsibility to finish the MBA strong, right? I still had a responsibility to make myself professionally available for work, right? To do the things that I'd still set out to do, because the job wasn't done, right? I had gone to Columbia in order to pivot my career to become an investment banker, to go into finance, right? At the point that we talked about manifesting, the job was not done. So I still had work to do. And what I did was I took all of those wins that I had and said, they happened. Now I have to create more wins because I need new things to happen, right? So then we were able to celebrate me graduating, right? You were there
Yes.
to see me graduate with my family,
Yes.
right?
Which was dope.
Yes, man, it was fantastic. It was a great experience.
Full circle.
Very full circle moment. And then, we took a little bit of a break, for vacation. Families went on vacation.
Yeah.
We did, we were in Cancun, my family and I. We took Zora to the beach, and boy,
Nice.
that little girl loves water, man. She loves it. She gets mad, you take her out. And she's growing so much, but we took a little bit of a break, and then I had to get back to studying, right? Because I had 2 more exams that I needed to pass in order to, to be licensed. And so I had a goal. I had a vision because I knew what I needed to do. And I had the habits that were necessary, right? So I knew essentially I carried over the same habits that I had created when we were studying for the bar exam, right? To put in as much put in as many reps, to do as much, to put in as much time as possible in order so that when I sat in the exam, there was nothing that I had not seen, right? Nothing felt new.
Right.
Everything was always like, oh yeah, I know. Almost like I knew the answer to the question before I finished reading it.
Yeah.
And so those were the things that I were manifesting in my life, and I made sure that no matter what, I still was able to achieve those.
Nice.
And it's a blessing. And then getting the great news that our family is growing
Yeah.
even made it more important for me to get those things done now. So I don't have to worry about them later, so that I can focus on the important things in family. And
So it's like fuel to the fire.
it was, man. When things in life happen, right? Life happens.
Life happened.
It is either going to diminish your light or it's going to brighten it. And you know me, I am about turning that shit up.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
So we turn the light up, Wilber. And that's what you're going to do.
Yeah.
You're going to turn the light up.
Yeah.
You're going to turn the light up, no matter what.
For sure.
The light will remain bright with you and for you. And so that's what I've done in manifesting. And now that I'm, in the healthcare group and I'm, going to be doing work, corporate finance work, in the healthcare space, it's amazing, right? Because just 18 months, 2 months ago, I was doing something completely different, as an attorney.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a testament to the ability to be able to really change your life, right? Manifesting is about changing your life. To be able to change your life in that short amount of time to where you are doing, achieving, seeing, interacting with a completely different group of circumstances and people than you were.
Yeah. And that change can be small. Or it can be tiny, small, medium, large. That's very important for people to know and for people to remember, right? That manifestation, when we talk about manifestation here, is the journey. It's not necessarily the end goal, but it's the journey.
Right. It is the journey. And so I've been able to do that.
Nice. That's awesome, man. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you,
You
man.
deserve that shit.
Thank
You
you so
deserve
much.
that shit.
I'm happy. And I'm happy that this journey that we manifested, we manifested this, through blood and sweat and tears and, pumping iron and talking and intellectualizing. I think I just made that word up, but maybe not. A lot of different topics and a lot of different things that we felt like we wanted to talk about, that we had the experience to give back for.
Yeah.
And that's where we are.
That's where we are.
And our vision for season 2 is bigger and better, and I cannot wait.
Damn.
I cannot wait to get started. I cannot wait to share that with everyone. I cannot wait to see where our lives are, right, through season 2 and how much better things have gotten.
Or how this podcast contributes to our life, and more so than what it already is doing.
Right.
But like, what other opportunities come from this?
Man, you never know.
So
you never know.
let's keep on cracking, as they say.
Let's
do it.
we're just gonna keep
We got
going,
that
man.
energy.
I am happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy, and I thank everyone And I think that I really couldn't express it even, any more or any clearer than that. I am happy, I am proud, and I am thankful.
Yeah, there you go. That's all you need in life. That's all you need. So now, habits?
You know what? Yeah, we're going to go in habits, right? Do you have any new habits, right? Do you have new habits that I would say?
Do I have any
like
new
positive habits, right? Like, do you have any new habits that I would say that are really contributing to you being able to at least stay on the grind?
Yeah.
Right.
So new positive habits, partying.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that is
Partying.
a positive habit. Yeah.
That it's a positive habit.
Socializing.
No, it's a positive. I say partying because, to me, party is socializing, is being in tune with something I love very dearly, which is music.
Yeah.
And I like being around people who I consider to be friends and brothers and sisters, and just spending time together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And in that whether it's in a party context or in a gathering or whatever, to me, like, that's one and the same. So what I'm not doing is partying till I black out or anything like that. That's not what I'm doing, you know. But it's just enjoying the moment, enjoying the scene of just music around, a couple drinks, are out, fun people, family, friends, just together, just sharing that, you know? So haven't done that in a while. So doing that, but not consistently, like every other day type thing. No, in moderation.
Right.
Again, going back to moderation.
Right.
Going to the gym.
Right.
Back at it.
Back at it.
Before, you fall off, whatever, you're tired. Now it's like, I wake up like,
full bore.
Let's go. Full bore. Let's get it. So been going to the gym. It helps with my mental clarity, right? I'm still waking up at 5 a.m. To go to the gym. So it helps with my stress levels. It helps with mental clarity.
Right.
Confidence booster, right? So all of that, those benefits prepare me for my day, and for me to tackle it with vigor. And because of that, like, I'm literally, today I weighed myself and I'm like at 200, and I was literally at 210 a couple months ago.
Right.
210, 215. And so physique wise, I like where I'm going and everything like that. And so, but now I just full bore going to the gym.
Right.
And learning to learning to adapt to my new reality.
I got it.
By introspection.
Yeah.
Which I constantly do, right? But this is, I feel like this is different.
Right.
I don't know. And just thinking about where do I go from here?
Yeah.
Where do I go from here?
Right.
And just being with myself in that thought process.
Right. Right.
So those are some. How about you?
One habit that I had,
other than breaking bread with billionaires out here.
Look, man, no. Honestly, the one thing that not even the one thing, but one thing that I have had to do is, I had a lot of free time when I'm working on the MBA. And with that, you get a little loose with your schedule.
Okay.
Right? Even though getting up early and stuff is just something that we've always done, but you still get a little loose because, I got time to do it. So what I've had to do is create the habit to be more intentional with my schedule, because I have to be more intentional to be able to spend enough time with the fam.
Yeah.
Right? I need to be intentional to find enough time to, for my studies, for work, and all these things. Be intentional to find time to make sure that we can get in here and do this.
Could we, stay on that real quick?
We can stay on it.
Because I have a follow-up question to that.
Okay. Well,
Right.
let me finish that,
All
and then
right, all right.
we can get. And so that's the one habit is I've had to be more intentional with my schedule, right? Because I don't want to neglect my family first and foremost, and I don't want to neglect my health. I don't want to neglect my passions. So you have to be able to set aside the time and really broker yourself in a way in which you are able to achieve all of those things without letting someone feel like they're not getting enough.
Yeah. Allocating.
Especially your family.
Right.
Right? I can't stress, especially your family. You never want your family to feel like they're not getting enough time. And so you had a follow-up question.
Yes. So people, there's this perception that if you're in corporate finance, you're working 70 hours, 80 hours, right? Like
a week?
Yeah, you're just like busy, right? And everything like that. And that something's got to give, right, in order for you to continue. And usually what happens, or at least what has happened in the past, is people like, this is the reality. I'm doing this for my family, and then they neglect their family because they believe that the money that's being poured in from that job is sufficient, right? And they're doing what they have to do. When in reality, there's a whole other bunch of factors that need to be considered as well, not just the money, right? And so, walk us through your process of how you allocate and how you find time to do everything that it is that you want to do.
Wow. I tell you, first and foremost, that it's not possible without the support of my wife.
Can we get a clap on? Yo,
Yeah,
clap for Anthony. You're like,
it is not possible.
There
I
we
can't
go.
tell you that
Thank you, B.
I've always been like that, because I wasn't, right? I was like, well, I'm grinding for the career, and everything else is, it's kind of like gravy on top. No, I got to this place because I started to understand more the importance of family, right? And that without your family, you're nothing. And so without her support, understanding that, okay, I'm going to be able to take care of the household. You take care of the outside piece, which is your career and all of that. And understanding that when you come home, and that's our time. When we're out, that's our time. And as long as we keep that separated, we really don't have any problems. But I think what happens is many times we like say, I'm going to go on vacation. And then you're working on vacation.
Right.
So not only are you not giving work 100%, you're not giving your family 100% either. And so you're going to create problems for yourself with your family. You create problems with yourself for your work. And when you create problems for yourself with your family, it is double time, because then you can't concentrate at work either. So I think just being very intentional and saying that when I'm home or when it's time to shut off, I'm shutting off. Right?
Boundaries too.
I'm not constantly, sending emails on my phone. I'm not constantly doing these things. Now, mind you, I haven't been doing this specific portion of my career for very long. But in the old piece of, my career, I was very, busy and in high demand. And I think that if I would have taken the same perspective, that it would have been a lot easier to do both and manage the family. And this is before we even had kids, right? To manage, the family aspect, building the family a lot better. But now understanding, because of the experiences that I had been through, that you got to be able to shut off. You got to be able to create the boundaries. And people have to understand that the most important portion of your life is family, right?
And do you make that clear?
And I make it clear. Like,
so that's part of you being intentional.
That is very
You let your
much
employer
part,
know,
right,
that's
like,
important to me.
All the conversations I've had with, like senior bankers and all of the people that, that I talk to at the firm understand that my family is very important.
And that doesn't scare you in terms of, or concern you that will close you off to opportunities?
No. There's always going to be somebody who's willing to do more than I am willing to do, because they
According
have
to bias.
Right, because they have different responsibilities and things of that nature, right? And I just have to be okay with that, right? Okay. There might be a time where somebody can stay at the office until 2, and I can't. right? Because I want to get home that day for bath time,
Right.
or for dinner time.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that I might not sign on afterwards, after, you know, my wife and I have had our time, and I've had time with Zora, and then after that everybody's kind of gone down, then maybe I sign back on
Mm-hmm.
when the other person's been there the whole time. But that's just because we have different responsibilities, and the team and all of those. We have to understand that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I make it clear, like, you know, my family is very important. I'm at an advanced place in my life, you know, more than you. I'm, you know, 37, whereas you might be 27, right? You don't have wife, you don't have kids, or you don't have husband, you don't have kids yet. And so you're able to spend more time doing those things, where I have to spend some of my time doing the other things that are important.
Yeah.
And that's how, right? Being very clear. Well, some people don't care. Some people might just be like, hey, you know, I'm at work. Leave me alone, people. Leave me alone, family. I'm at work. Don't call me.
Right.
No.
So it's fun. Thank you for that, because one thing I got out of that is you have a habit of communicating clearly.
Oh, yeah.
So
Because if you don't, you start leaving things to people to assume.
yes. And so make that a habit, people.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate clearly. Know what you want and communicate that.
Right.
Clearly.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And then another habit that I've created is listening to a lot of, like, finance podcasts, right? There was something I did, like, tangentially before, but now I, like, every morning I try to start with, you know, like, Fast Money, you know, market update, those things, just to get my mind in the space that it needs to be in, so that I can speak intelligently about the things that I am going into work to do, right? So it's just another portion of study
Right.
for the career, right? That doesn't take a lot, but it's a lot of value add, because it helps you to get in the right mindset, right? I'm starting to think about things, you know, well, oh, I heard about this deal that's happening in the, you know, in the market, and how does that affect the things that I'm doing? You know, is it comparable to what I'm doing? Is there anything that I can add in a conversation to one of my managing directors? Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
But as long as I'm up to date, maybe they just ask me about it. Hey, did you hear about this? Did you read about this in the Wall Street Journal? Yeah, I did, actually. And this is what I thought. This is how I analyzed it. And it makes, I think, it makes the career easier, and it helps you to get up to speed faster.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
And so, you know, as we're getting close to our like wrap up of the wrap up,
Right.
how do you think you develop habits, or a new habit,
Wow.
or how do you think one can develop a new habit,
Well, I could, okay, so I could
whether
speak,
it be positive or destructive?
right. So I'll speak for myself first.
That's all we can do.
And how do I develop habits is I just start doing stuff. And that's true. I'm not even lying to you. I see,
Just to see if you like it.
just to see if it works,
Okay.
right? Like, for example, I have a habit of taping my mouth closed at night
Okay.
for better sleep. The reason being is that I was having trouble sleeping, like last year. I was having trouble sleeping, like, man, it was so bad that I had asked my mom if I could, like, borrow her CPAP machine. I was like, Mom, I want to try this because something's got to give. I need to sleep better.
Right.
It's hurting my recovery in the gym, right? It's hurting just my overall health, and I need to figure something out. So I was doing all kind of research, man, and I came across an article and a product. The product was called hostage tape or something like that. And the article was talking about how taping your mouth shut at night and making sure that you sleep with your mouth closed and breathe through your nose is better to help you not only fall asleep faster, but have deeper sleep and breathe better at
Yeah.
night and all those things, right?
You've been telling me that. Yeah.
So I said, you know what, I'm going to try it. I said, I'm just going to try it.
You want to try it.
So I tried it, and the first night, man, this is the first time in, I feel like, years in which I felt myself fall asleep, and then I just woke up, and it was time to get up. I didn't turn over, toss and turn at night. I didn't do anything. I was just asleep, and then I woke up. And it was like the best sleep I had ever had.
So let's stay right there for for a moment. You said you develop new habits just by trying it.
Trying it.
And in that moment that you're making the decision to try something, what do you think is driving you to try it?
A desire to change.
A desire to change. And where do you think your desire to change comes from?
Oh man, I think it's a part of, like who I am as a person. It's always trying to grow, always trying to be better, like 1% better every day. And so there are different aspects in your life, whether it's trying a new multivitamin, trying to address, a new exercise, trying to just create a new habit in your life that's going to help you improve.
Improve it. So it seems like your desire is being caused by, well, seems like you're trying to live optimally, as optimal as you can possibly.
Yeah. Oh man, absolutely. Like, I don't want to have any wasted time in my life, right? I don't want to be like, dang, what was I doing during that 10-year span where I was, 60 pounds overweight, and I was, high cholesterol, and, I was having trouble sleeping, and my career wasn't moving, and my family was unhappy. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to spend time where it's like, okay, these last year, or maybe these last 6 months didn't go exactly as I wanted to. Why? Oh, identify that. Create the habits, create the goals, continue in your vision, and keep moving forward.
And so let me ask you, because it seems like in that answer you have another habit, which is to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be, always be improving.
Yes.
And that's a habit you have.
Yes.
And what do you think, how did you develop that? Because at some point that habit had to be new. And do you remember when that habit was, like when you was like, I'm going to try this?
No. And the reason being is because it was bred within me. Like, that was something that, like, just starting from my nana. Being a young,
She
young.
poured that into you.
She poured that into me, right? And it started off with a very simple phrase. You look good, you feel good. And that blossomed into, you look good, you feel good, you do good, you get good. Then it just, everything is, how can you be good?
Right. Repeat that again. Repeat that again. You gotta repeat that from the beginning.
So it's, you look good,
Yep.
you feel good. You feel good, you do good, you get good. And you always move forward.
So it's very interesting there, what you said, where it starts at the home.
Yeah, man.
And that's very important to all our listeners. It starts at the home.
Yes. It usually does, right? It usually starts at somebody pouring into you.
Yeah.
And for me, it started with, like my nana. And she poured into me to make sure that I was going to be the best version of myself that I could be. And I took that and built upon that. And now a habit that has been pervasive through my whole life is, how can I always be better, always striving for more.
Right.
Yeah.
Dope. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
that was
for
good.
sure. It is.
That was good.
It's a beautiful thing, man. And again, I appreciate you for asking that and for bringing that out, man. Because now we're at the final countdown, right? We are wrapping this up. And is there anything that you want to leave our folks with to really stew on, right? To really think about before they see us again?
Yeah. This is what I'll leave them with.
Okay.
And it's a question.
Oh.
It's a rhetorical question.
Oh, I like questions, man. It makes you think. Let's hear it.
It's a question. My question is, for those who have been with us from episode 1 to episode 6,
Yeah.
have you gone back to older episodes just to do a recap or refresh those concepts, or are you just blowing through?
Right.
Right?
Are you really digesting what we're
Right.
saying to you?
And if you're not, why not?
Okay. Why not? I like that. And that's something that I want to leave them with. And I want to leave everybody simply with this. We love you. Let's get the day started.